A 20-year-old girl was stalked by a 23-year-old man named Pete at her job at the local grocery store. It started off fairly innocently. I mean, as innocent as stalking can get, but soon took a horrifying turn. At the grocery store where she worked, she had a small counter that sold cigarettes, lottery tickets, and other small items. Pete would come in every single shift without fail. He didn't miss a single shift, and he always came to her checkout, even if she was working a different one that day. He would stare at her in a really creepy way, the kind that lasts way too long, and he wouldn't look away even if she stared back. Even if she completely ignored him, she could still feel his creepy gaze, no matter how far away she was in the store. Then, he started buying her chocolate every time he came to her register. At first, she accepted because she didn't really know how to politely decline. Eventually, she had bags and bags of Reese's behind the counter. One time, he even brought her a cake that he had baked himself and gave it to her in front of the entire store at the checkout. Picture a 23-year-old man giving a 20-year-old girl a cake in front of an entire grocery store. That's the level of creepy and awkward she was dealing with. He also used to come in with a friend of his regularly, who luckily enough lived 2 doors down from her. She knew this because he had a very specific work truck that she recognized. His friend would occasionally stare at her when they were both outside their house. One day, on her day off, she went into the store to get some snacks, and Pete was there with his friend. She went to lane 1, and Pete was in another lane farther back in the store. As she checked out, he stared at her with a borderline evil look on his face. This time was so creepy it gave her chills. From that point onward, things began to escalate, and other employees at the store noticed his weird fixation with her. They started sending her to the back room whenever he came in, so she wouldn't have to see him. Throughout this whole ordeal, she had been telling her parents about what was happening with Pete, and finally her dad decided to get involved. They lived about a block away from the store, so her dad told her to message him as soon as Pete came in, and he would drive down right away. She gave her dad a description of Pete, so he knew who to look for. Thankfully, Pete always came in wearing the exact same thing, a work shirt, a great ponytail, and a blue bandana, so he'd be easy to identify. One day Pete comes in, her dad shows up and stands right behind Pete in line as he checks out. That day, he got to witness firsthand how creepy Pete was towards her. In fact, that day, Pete finally went to the extent of asking her out on a date. She declined, and Pete actually pushed back, but she continued to decline, and eventually he left the store with her dad in hot pursuit. After that, she never saw Pete again. Her dad wouldn't tell her exactly what he said to him, other than that he was really shaken up by it. Fast forward to one night she was working around 9 p.m., finishing up her shift because the store closed at 10. In walks Pete's friend. He walks in and heads around the counter towards the back of the store to do some shopping, presumably. She happens to notice through the window that he parked his work truck right next to her car. This was particularly odd because she had parked fairly far away earlier in the day when she got there. The store was busy, and all the spots in the front were taken. Now the store was dead, and the parking lot was empty, but he still parked right beside her car at the back of the parking lot. Feeling really creeped out, she tells her supervisor about it, and her supervisor says, "Yeah, that's super creepy. Let me walk you to your car at the end of your shift." Apparently they were talking kind of loud because not even 5 seconds later, Pete's friend comes from around the corner and walks right out of the store. He didn't buy a single thing, even though he'd been in the store for like 10 minutes. She instantly felt this pit in her stomach at the thought that they might have planned to kidnap her, or at the very least, confront her late at night when no one else was around. From that point on, thankfully, she never saw either of them again and stopped working there shortly after, finding a better job. This whole experience was so creepy and disturbing that she is still insanely conscious of her surroundings to this day.
If you have any previous experiences, please share with us in the comments. This is your Life Explorers HQ.